Here, you're seeing Chogha Zanbil Ziggurat. And while we don't really have the best footage from this place, I can't help but to show you this incredible monument from the past. But first of all, let me give you some perspective into where we actually are. So the day before, we took a night bus from the city of Sanandaj to the city of Avas. From which, after arriving, we had to take a taxi to the town of Shush, from where we had to take another taxi to Chogha Zanbil Ziggurat. A ziggurat is basically a massive structure from Mesopotamia, which was part of a big temple complex, and usually the city was spread around it. The one you're seeing here is basically the most accessible one, because even though I found sources that claim there are still about 20 still standing, there's usually only 3 of them named, and 2 of them are in southern Iraq, which isn't really a place you can easily get a visa to. So if you want to see a ziggurat, then you should first of all try your luck going to Chogha Zanbil, since that is a lot easier, to be honest with you. It is actually from around 1200 BC, so it is a couple of thousand years old, but then again it was destroyed a few hundred years later, so it is some level of rebuild, but it still looks amazing anyway. However, we haven't traveled that far solely to see Chogha Zanbil. We also wanted to explore Shush and its adjacent castle. That would have been a great plan, only that due to intense heat, the castle closed around 12 PM and we arrived 5 minutes after that, so there was no way of entering it anymore. Which is a thing we couldn't really have known, but it was also 40 degrees Celsius, so it's understandable in a way. And at least we got to see the very cool looking mausoleum of Shush. That's all that really happened though, so here's some footage of the accommodation and the breakfast we had before all of that. So going on with our hotel showcase, this is probably the shortest hotel stay we ever had, because we only came here to have breakfast and have a shower basically. Because we slept in the bus, we arrived at like 6 AM and now it's 8-ish or something, probably not even 8, and we're already leaving again. So yeah, it's kind of a nice hotel if you look at this room with only the beds. But then the thing is, it's actually quite dirty, especially if you look at the carpets. And I get that carpets are not the easiest thing to clean, but then again I have a carpet at home and it's not dirty, so... And also it's supposed to be a 3-star hotel, so I actually don't expect dirty floors. And especially this floor, which is without a carpet and a lot easier to clean, is even more dirty, to be quite honest. You see like a lot of footsteps around here. I don't know when this was last cleaned. And also I find the bathroom a bit inconveniently built, because to the right you have the shower head. And then there's no like thing where the water flows, except the squat toilet, which is next to the toilet. I mean, I find it odd to have a squat toilet anyway in the bathroom, but then why is there no other way for the water to go out than the squat toilet, which makes the whole bathroom completely wet, because it has to go through the whole bathroom to go there. So here's carrot jam, which is like a very funny idea to me personally. I'm really curious on how it tastes like. It does look like orange jam, which is like, it would be funny if it's just a mistranslation. It has nothing to do with carrots at all. That's weird. It's not fruit though, it's kinda odd. Since it was that hot, Stefan did worry that if we would add another place to our list, we might collapse, which is an understandable worry. That and the fact that we didn't know if we would be able to get back from another place to Avas in time led to us calling it a day early on. The footage you're seeing right now is filmed in the night bus we took leaving Avas. There's another terrible and kind of weird taxi driver experience that happened on that day. There was this guy who told us a certain price, and when we arrived back in Avas, he suddenly wanted a way higher price, which we didn't really wanted to pay, since that wasn't agreed upon. And then he tried to get other people involved, including the police, trying to tell them we wanted to screw him over, but nobody really believed him and the police ended up escorting us into the bus station. So I mean, that was something interesting, I suppose. And after we've slept in the bus and finally arrived in our destination, we went on to have our breakfast and then inquire about a taxi for the next destination we wanted to reach. So to give you again some sort of perspective, we've left Avaz with a night bus in the direction of Shiraz, from which we then took a private driver to see 3 locations: Persepolis, Naqsh-e-Rajab and Naqsh-e-Rostam, from which Persepolis is the first one we visited and also the only one that really would make sense to show you on the Google Earth footage. Persepolis was founded around the 6th century BC and was the capital of the Achaemenid Empire. It was later on destroyed, and obviously now it's just an archaeological site. However, it is really interesting to see, and there are still a few pieces that are some level of intact, and especially some of the ornaments would remind you of what one usually expects to find in Egypt, for instance. This is again the part of the video where I'm not gonna say all that much and just want you to enjoy this truly stunning place. Examples for still standing structures would be the Gate of All Nations, which you've just seen a few seconds ago, and also the King's Tombs of Artaxerxes II and III, which we have footage from where I'm standing in front of them and say something, but it wasn't anything substantial, so I decided to just cut the audio out and try to show you a bit of the footage just so you can see what the tombs look like from the outside, since it's impossible to enter them, sadly. Another archaeological site called Naqsh-e-Rajab is very close to Persepolis, and it basically consists of some rock-cut ornaments which look very beautiful and very interesting. But I'm not really that well versed in Iranian history, so I'm not trying to give any history lesson here. The last archaeological site we visited on that day was Naqsh-e-Rostam, which was originally actually the reason we wanted to go to this whole area anyway. Since it looked so amazing on pictures, we had to see it in person. It's basically an ancient necropolis, which consists of rock-cut cave entrances, whereas inside that cave would be the tombs. And the 4 kings buried here would be Darius II, Artaxerxes I, Darius I and Xerxes I. There's also some cube in front of it, which seems to be connected to Zoroastrianism, which you've shortly heard of if you watched my Azerbaijan series. It is a religion that has to do a lot with fire, and it's not really heard that much of. And after getting back, we started walking around Shiraz, even though we didn't have all that much time until sunset. But we at least wanted to see a little bit of it, since there's actually a lot to see. So now I'm just showing you a couple of impressions we had on that evening. And I don't really have that much to say about them, actually. We mostly just visited some kind of fortress, then we went looking for some beautiful mosques, walked through the bazaar, and then we ended up having dinner with a friend we made on a night bus before. This is basically just kind of a sneak peek into the next video, because in the 4th part of my series we will be looking more into Shiraz and its architecture, which is honestly a very, very beautiful city. So here we have barley soup from Iran, which is like a thing that's not really common in Germany at all.
It consists of course, barley and beans, I guess, carrots, tomatoes, parsley. And I never ate barley before. It tastes interesting, it tastes really good. Would recommend it.
And that's actually a tiny clip of the people we were with speaking Farsi. So, especially for the people that never heard the language, know how it sounds like.
سلام، خیلی خوش اومدید.
ما مردم ایران پذیرای صلح و دوستی شما هستیم و بسیار خوشحالیم از حضور شما در کشور عزیز.
So we got some fancy Iranian ice cream, which is like, it looks really funny. It looks like noodles in a way, and it's said to taste like citron.
It's very hard.
Hard?
But very good, yes. Here you have some sauce. And I guess that's the thing that tastes like lemons.
Well, what the sauce tastes like lemons?
The sauce, I guess.
And what does the other stuff taste like?
I have no idea.